Hi, everybody. My name is Anthony Haddad. I am the Assistant Director of Growth with ZBT. And I'm going to talk a little bit today on how to show ourselves without showing ourselves utilizing marketing and social media, especially when our world is not exactly how it was a year ago. I first want to start out by thanking the foundation for helping us put on these events and giving us those wonderful grants so that we're able to put these events on. But let's jump into it and talk a little bit about what fall will look like for most schools. Online classes or a hybrid style learning is seeing to be the biggest norm, where students are either going to be behind their computers like I am now, or they're going to be on campus a little bit more in person, starting a little bit earlier and leaving around Thanksgiving break, so that once they go home, um, they stay home. Virtual recruitment is being seen at majority of at least the schools that ZBT sees, but I'm imagining all of the schools that fraternities and sororities work with. And so, of course, we are making our best effort to support our undergraduate chapters. And if you ever do need support, just reach out to the headquarters. Students not being on campus or in the community is seeing to be more and more apparent within our campus communities, especially with a lot of schools not wanting to have students in the dorms. And that's seeming to be something to cut back on for their liability or whatever that could be. But we need to make sure that we're putting the effort to those students that might not even be on campus. And also, there's that giant pocket, that giant gray area, that unknown space where we don't know if we're going to be on campus for a short time and then get sent back home early. We don't know if spring's going to look the same. We don't know if halfway through fall they're going to find a vaccine and COVID-19 will be erased. Obviously, that's what we're hoping for. I know for everybody, we want to travel, we want to be outside, we want to do those things. But as of right now, we have to make those plans to uh, make sure that we are safe indoors and at least 6 feet apart. So something that I want to touch on is why social media marketing is so important. As we all know, as just people in society, social media is something that we interact with almost daily. It is something that we use to get knowledge, especially in this unsettled world. Uh, Everything that's going on, even if it's from a campaign to a debate or an incident that's happening within our country, social media is usually the first place that we find it. It creates a bridge. It connects two people on this virtual bridge that we can't even see, but we know it exists because we're looking for it. We're trying to find that community. It conveys ideas, and obviously, as we know, most of our trends come from social media. I'm not going to get into the TikTok trends, but even if you're not on TikTok like myself, we know that trends are happening and existing and will continue to happen and continue to exist. It's an environment in which businesses use to get their products sold or their services rented or sold themselves. It's used to convey those messages. And I think one of the biggest things, and especially now, what we're seeing within our generations, is that it makes us escape for a little bit around the world that we live in, around maybe the house that we've been in for a long time, the people that we're surrounded by. It kind of gives us that escape. But one of the biggest things that I think a lot of people forget about when it comes to social media and that whole side of it is what is really in students' heads? What's really in our own heads? What do we want to know or feel? And I think the biggest part of this is FOMO. For those that don't know what FOMO is, it's fear of missing out. It is one of the biggest items of why we have social media and why we want to feel connected is because we're in a space that is not in that same physical space with that person or that company that we're viewing, but we want to be kept up to date and know exactly what's going on. For example, 44% of Generation Z checks social media at least once per hour, and 17%, or 7%, excuse me, check it every 15 minutes. 75% of Gen Zs watch a YouTube video, multiple YouTube videos, at least one weekly, and about 25% watch multiple a day. And 1 in 5 Gen Zs spend more time refreshing Twitter than they would be reading a book. Um, I know that those seem a little intense. Those figures obviously cannot be the most accurate either. It comes from different sources. However, when we look at it, we always see somebody's face in their phone walking down the street, or even when we're on Zoom calls, when you guys are doing online classes, whatever it is, online chapter meetings, you all will see that people are looking at their phone, looking at this device that's sitting right here, dinging or trying to communicate in some way to them. And one of the biggest things is Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, TikTok, let's say. Whatever avenue we choose, we're putting ourselves in that mix and we're letting that be our communicative space. What I like to say when it comes to marketing, especially, and kind of tapping into this FOMO, tapping into this bridge of communication, is be in the know of marketing. And obviously, if you've been on any of my webinars or seen any of them on YouTube or any of our social medias, I always have something that's an acronym. It's just one of those things. But let's start with K. It's a kind of approaches that we use within social media and marketing in general. Obviously, we know the social media aspects like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and we'll go into a little bit of the demographics that use those a little bit later. But also big things that a lot of people don't really realize is how much email and texting can actually change the conversation. We send emails constantly to that .edu that I know everybody has. And we're expecting a teacher to send the slides from the biology class that we just took so that we can study for our midterms. But when we send an email that has a different heading, like Zeta Beta Tau fraternity, the non-pledging brotherhood on campus, something that will pop up, be different, be new, it's something that we're going to click on. Same thing with text messaging. We get a lot of spam text, especially if you follow any campaign when it comes to a product placement or either political, whatever it is, you get text every single day. The best way to not get texting fatigue is having less than 20 words in a sentence saying what exactly you're talking about and having a link for action. So like either if it's like, check out our Instagram at this, and they can click that, go to your Instagram, or go to a form where they can learn more information and be connected with the fraternity. That is going to be so, first, nice. I appreciate that a lot. I don't want to read a paragraph. And two, you'll see so much return on that time spent. N is the niche market. We need to know your market. You know somewhat of your market, but you need to know and understand it. So obviously us in a fraternity, when we do recruitment, when we do philanthropy postings, whatever we do, it is to get the attention of our community, our group, either a sorority, either a fraternity, either the campus, either the greater community, whatever that may be, we're focusing it on them. Do we know our market as well as we think we do? Are we attacking the market the best ways? So really understand who exactly we're marketing to. One of the big things with that, and we'll speak about it a little bit later, is the insights that we can get from especially Facebook and Instagram. But even when it comes to email or links such as Bitly, you can get a connective piece that tells you how many clicks and how long somebody was on there. And so it's very, very helpful. Oh, organizations of the materials. Usually when I explain this and it's spelt out as organizations on purpose, because what I like to do is pull out the organization and see exactly what you're working on and why, because there's multiple organization aspects going on. but make the unknown known is the biggest part. When do we have to post something? Do we have a schedule to post it? Do we have to print something? How long will that take? Do we have the money for it? When do we have to pay it? All of those types of things are super easy for us to plan out in advance, but we always push it forward because we know it's easy. We know that we can do it very, very easily. But when we have a social media plan that's done a month in advance, obviously there are those pop-ups that we have to post, like an event going on that we're there. We send a picture on the story. Utilization of the story is huge. But when you have it a month in advance, it's going to put you in an area uh, of comfort in a way, because you know that either you have a posting platform such as Hootsuite, or you have to post it yourself. It's already ready. It's just you have to hit send. And then W, who are you? One of my other ZBT from home webinars that I did was about branding and finding out who you are. What makes your chapter ZBT unique? Because the national office, the international office, excuse me, we have a brand. We have our logo, we have the feelings that people get from hearing intellectual awareness, social responsibility, integrity, and brotherly love. We have that brand. But what makes your brand special and unique, not just from the international office, because you hold that brand, uh, but from the other fraternities on campus? One of the biggest things that I like to do is ask people, who do you think your chapter is? Tell me the vibe about your chapter. Ask your chapter and other members, what do you think the vibe is? And then third, ask community members, sorority members, potential new brothers, campus leaders, campus staff and faculty. When you hear ZBT, what does that provoke? What does that tell you? What do you know is going on? And what is the vibe you get? Because that, in a way, is that you can check your own thinking about it, because you're passionate, you want to market this, you want to send it out there. You're asking a bigger group where you'll have a difference of response, but most of them are still passionate, still in there. And then you're asking the campus community, where their ideas will completely vary. And then if you get all those responses, let's say, you get them together, does that strike you as something that you want to represent and you want representing you? If yes, push it forward. What are the best ways that you can be more marketable and show that? And number two, if it's negative, why is it negative? Um, and we need to change it. We need to change that idea, that brand, that who we are, so that it is positive. Because if it's negative, it doesn't just lead to what people think. It shows us a lot more about what's going on in the chapter. And I think we all want our chapters to succeed. And I think that is one of the best starting points, is finding out who we are to ourselves, our chapters, and our community. And if it's not the best thing, we need to change it. Utilizing the know of marketing, there's also like the strategizing. And I call this the big five. It's know how you're unique, the branding aspect that we just talked about. Know your goals and objectives. Make sure you're setting them. Make sure that you have a goal for how many followers you want to gain, how many posts you want to have, what your insight looks like. All of those small things make the biggest difference. And that's really goes into the organization of materials and that niche marketing, because your objective could be gaining 15 new brothers, or having 50 potential new brothers hit a link on your Instagram profile. Those are goals and objectives that you guys can accomplish. Know your market, the niche marketing aspect that we just talked about. Know your budget. That goes back to that organization of materials. Do you have the money for it? What do you get to spend? Sponsored materials, what's going on? Know the data from your outward communication. So I'll dive in a little bit more about insights and really what that means. If you have a chapter Instagram or a chapter Facebook, you have the ability to check on the back end if who is liking your posts, the age ranges, the times, the demographics, whatever it is, you can find it. Especially with Instagram, make sure that you're on a business profile, and it'll show you per picture, per month, depending on where you want to rank it. They have this long list of options that you can do. You can see literally everything. We talked a little bit earlier about Bitly, bit.ly, L-Y, and then a slash. You can change a huge form URL to something super short. What we use for expansion is bit.ly slash join and then the school that we're doing for expansion. And it makes it super simple. We go to the back end of that and we can see how many people have clicked it and how many people have stayed on it, which makes it super easy for us to see. It shows us if our communications are working. And same thing through text. There's a lot of texting applications and texting research abilities that you can utilize if you want to see, like, what is my open rate? What is my click rate? It's very, very helpful, and that goes for email as well. But one of the biggest things that I love is looking at those Instagram or Facebook insights. You can see exactly when you should post. You can see exactly where you should be targeting, and it makes everything very, very simple, and makes you a better marketer in general. Because then you can add an email and texting to those local areas for those age ranges. If you have lists, the operations and marketing of that is endless. The next one is things that you can do now for your social media, and really pumping that up in a time of COVID. And things to think about, because other fraternities and other chapters do things that are similar. Make it your own and make it unique. Social media competitions. There is a few chapters that I've heard of thus far that have done different sorts of competitions between brothers of, like, who could do the funniest photo or who has the cutest pet, and they're posing with their pet and they're having a poll on their Instagram that allows the viewers to say, oh, this dog's cuter, this one's cuter, whatever it may be. Do those types of competitions because it shows engagement. It also gives your discoverability a lot higher potential, because you guys can do something so simple as a philanthropy in which you have a competition with throughout all Greek life, all councils, and you make a post with each group, and then whoever shares it more gets this much money for their philanthropy, whatever that could be. Whatever that is, your discoverability and your following engagement and your followers will rise tremendously. Online philanthropy, just talked about that a little bit. There's a lot of ways where you all can get involved without leaving your homes. If that's a online fundraiser, if that is just your way of spreading awareness, there's a lot of things. Brothers of the Week and those types of posting, where you are highlighting what your brothers are doing and the special things that they've accomplished either now or in the past that deserves that time. Pet postings, we talked about that a little bit earlier as well, but like diving into that a little bit more. The idea of you're at home, this is my dog, this is my cat, this is my lizard, this is my fish, this is my ferret, I don't know what you guys have. But like highlighting something that's so in our heads small brings a lot of joy to other people that may not have pets or just like seeing other people's pets. It brings a certain uniqueness to a platform. Online recruitment scheduling, I just wanted to throw that in there. Post them, make sure it's clean, make sure it's not blocky, their text is not just blaring out at me. Just make sure that you're posting those. Throwback photos are huge. What brotherhood events, what philanthropy events, community service events, heritage events, whatever event, which ones have you done that can show me that your chapter is this way in person? And that could be when you guys all went paintballing or went to that theme park or had your brotherhood retreat. Whatever that may be, make sure when you're following the social media policies, we don't like diving into people's social medias about things that shouldn't be there. And two, I want to have that feeling that it's like, I want to be a part of this community. House tours and the video process. which is huge for a lot of groups, and they're trying to kind of jump on this. House tours, very simple. I'm not talking about MTV Cribs. If nobody knows what that is anymore, I get it, I'm old. But don't show them around like, oh, this is my house. Look over there. Like, this is super cool. Make sure the house is clean, give a tour, walk them through it. Because this is a way that, one, we can get people interested in living inside of the house, and two, we can get people interested in the fraternity in general. Refreshing your recruitment videos, or making a photo-based recruitment video if you do not have video footage, is something that I think could be essential to your viewership, to your expansion of it as a chapter. It's huge. Refreshing that recruitment video can be adding video clips that you might have not used, adding in some photos to break it up, changing the song a little bit, changing the layout a little bit. What you guys can do with that is really endless, and it could look similar to your past video, but to potential new brothers that are freshmen, to people that are just coming on campus, it's a different thing. A photo-based recruitment video is obviously the photos are sliding through, somebody is talking, somebody is giving them a walkthrough about ZBT and what they do there. And if you ever need help with those video projects, let us know at the headquarters. We'd be happy to help. What content should we use? And I want to talk about photos first, instead of videos. Videos will be next, but photos I think is the biggest thing, because this is the biggest constant, excuse me. We're going to be posting a lot more photos than we are videos. Something that I think is huge is that the photo is balanced and symmetric. Those could be two separate things, but they're really on the same line. When you have your iPhone or any type of camera, most of them have a setting where you can put those cross lines. Those are 3 lines down the middle, 2 lines through, whatever your phone operates as. But I like using that when I'm taking photos, because what I like to do is line up one or whatever is of interest between one of those dividing lines, and so that it gives it a bigger spread on the right-hand side. When it's something that's symmetric, that's very, very easy. Everything is similar. It could be all of your brothers wearing letters. It could be so many different options. Crop, don't zoom. A lot of people like to zoom into a photo to make themselves or whatever the object of interest is pop out a little bit more. But when you zoom it, you're ruining the quality of the photo. You're actually ruining the experience. When you crop the photo down, it does the same sort of illusion without necessarily ruining the quality or design. Be unique. Repeating patterns, reflections, natural filters, height perspectives, whatever it is, it can bring so much more to your page. Whether that be a bunch of brothers are at a beach or at a lake and it's a reflection of a group of brothers over that lake. It could be that you guys are flying to convention in 2021 and you guys are taking a picture outside of the plane window. And even you can do a reflection piece off of that. Height perspectives, you guys go on a brotherhood hike and you guys are all sitting there with your legs dangling down looking at the scenery. Whatever that may be, those trend higher on social media. Those are more unique and more eye-catching. If I see photos like that on somebody's profile, I'll be more inclined to click on the profile, look through the rest of the photos, and then follow it, like it, whatever that may be. Candid photography. This is something that gets me, right? I talk to chapters a lot about these items. Candid photography is not staged, for those that don't know. If you are all just smiling, facing the camera, and that's every single photo, that's a lot. That's a lot for anybody to look at. And you'll start seeing that your likes, your insights, your followers will not be trending as high. Do it where somebody's playing intramurals. Do it where somebody is going on a hike and you're behind them all or looking up or whatever that may be. Do it in a way that shows what you guys are doing as a chapter, as a brotherhood, but without staging it. If I see people that are running around in maybe a short 10-second video where somebody is playing paintball or running a football down a field or whatever that may be, whatever that looks like, um, that is going to be more eye-catching, and I would want to be part of that more than just seeing 10 photos of everyone staring at the camera going, because after a while that does get a little weird as well. And so really diversify your content in that way, be that creative side, and really have that unique photo spread. Another one that I wanted to put in is educational content, interesting visuals, like we just spoke about, a lot of interesting visuals, and humor have always been things that trend high. Right now, the educational content is 42% of why people buy specific products or join organizations. And for interesting views, it's 38%. And for being funny and having that humor, it's 36%. And I'm not necessarily saying go hard, go be the funniest person alive, because number one, that's me. And number two, we don't usually have humor that relates to everybody. But the things that we can be doing is like throwing up when a brother in a candid photo is doing a goofy face on a story, if they're okay with it, whatever that may look like for your chapter and your brothers. Consent, number one, always. But having that kind of humor, having that kind of like build up is huge. Especially if it's a candid, because candid photos already get 33%, like candid photos with a face get 33% more likes on Instagram as of 2019. And so, especially those, mixing them together, having that humor, having that candid, having that view, whatever that may look like for you is going to help you guys trend a lot more. And also, don't be conventional. Think outside of the box. We're all posting things that are like, oh, we just finished an event. All of our arms are around each other. We're smiling. We're all pointed towards one camera. And that's what you will see on sorority, fraternity, everyone's Instagram and social media accounts. And if you are more unique than that, if you take or pick up anything that we talked about that way that we can create a different style of content that could attract a user, that's what we should be doing. Don't just be like everyone else. We're ZBT, we're unique. Let's show that. Moving into the video aspect. Live videos are one of the biggest things that catch a lot of people, especially when we are going to our day-to-day lives. And I see on my phone, Zeta Beta Tau Instagram is going live. And if you haven't followed at Zeta Beta Tau, you should get on it. But when that goes live, like that could be something that I open up my phone, watch it for a little bit. But we have to do it smart. We don't do that at parties. We don't do that at events that will make us, our brothers, our community be looked at in a negative light. We don't do that. But when you guys are at a philanthropy event, let's say it's a Pie the President event, and you guys start living a video when the president is getting 3 pies pushed into his face at once, or a dunk tank and he's falling in, whatever that may look like for your chapter, those are the things that should go live. Capture that moment and save that video, because if you're doing it on one social media platform, you must make sure that it goes to another one. That cross-platform marketing is going to make sure that you guys have a engaged follower base. Events. Taking those videos and those candid shots, like I said, about running a football down a field, paintball, whatever that may be, taking even 15 seconds of that on somebody's iPhone, on somebody's Android, whatever it is, that can start to grow a recruitment video throughout the year, a promo video, whatever you guys want to say. Those 15 seconds could be huge. You guys could even do like a 2-minute piece and time lapse it down to 10 seconds. Whatever you guys think is necessary for that, that is going to be very, very useful in the future. Question and answer. A lot of people have been doing some sort of question and answer from huge businesses to local mom and pop shops, whatever that may be. Just having somebody on camera and like being asked a question and they answer a question, and rotating through the brothers, like, why, Brother Joe, did you join ZBT? I joined ZBT because I enjoyed the values. I felt as if I could emulate those values, and I really liked the men that were in the chapter. Cool. That is a video clip that one could be put into a bigger video, or just put into a 10-second story video on Instagram that's then put into your highlights, that lives there for an allotted amount of time, that you guys post once weekly. So you guys could create a campaign of like, why ZBT? Why did I join? Leaders of ZBT, whatever you guys like. You guys have that ability. Another one that is trending very high and is very accessible is a video that I can watch and you can watch and not have any sound and know exactly what's going on. And so that could be somebody, let's say those huge videos that we see on YouTube of somebody scoring a huge goal where they just knock it in off their head and they didn't know what was going on. So now they're looking around, but they actually scored the game-winning goal. Or that little kid that shot a three that made no sense on how his form was, but it went in. I can watch that video without sound, know exactly what's going on, and know exactly what kind of energy I'm getting out of it. Think about that with some of those video ideas of, can I watch this without sound and still know what's going on? Keep it short to the platform. These are a few ideas of what these could be, but we don't need a TV show. We don't need a ZBT Netflix. That is just too much, and you're going to lose a lot of your viewership. What we need to see is 2 to 3 minute videos on YouTube or Facebook, something that I can sit down and watch, or I can sit down and watch for 30 seconds and still get a big heap of it. Just keep somebody engaged. When it comes to that Facebook aspect, a lot of those people that are on our Facebook are our families or alumni. They will more likely sit through one of those videos to see what's going on with either their brothers that they have not met and the chapter that they worked so hard to build, or if it's a family member, seeing their kids, their nephews, whatever that may look like, or just the friends of their sons or nephews, or whatever that may look like, so that they can get a sense that their family member is okay, that they're having fun and it's a good time. Another area is Instagram. It's 45 seconds should be really the highest level, unless you want to do an Instagram TV, IGTV. It has to be over a minute to be on there, and it's a bit harder to get to when it comes to groups that don't normally have video. So a 45-second quick video that gets the point across, that's engaging, will allow somebody to watch it multiple times. The shareability is a lot higher, and it will have that engagement. The next one is how to be the most efficient when it comes to marketing, especially going into fall. Those are a bunch of ideas that could be done virtually, and some will end up being physical. But we need to look at the efficiency right now. Audit your current social media presence. See what your following base looks like. See what your photos are telling. Like, what is that story? If I looked at your social media, what would your social media tell me that you guys are like? That is the mindset and the eyes that you guys should be looking through. Know who you're trying to convey that message to. I think that is one of the biggest things that we forget a lot about the time. We're just posting just to post, but is it connecting? Is it something that I think is funny, my chapter thinks is funny, but we're a little bit different than the newest generation coming on campus? If that's the case, does that work? Create goals and expectations for your posts, your videos, and your platforms. Like I was saying earlier, and I really want to hit on that point, that's huge. Making sure that you have a goal when it comes to how many followers, insights, your discoverability, how many people do you want to see a post that's following you versus not following you. There's instances like currently on the Zeta Beta Tau Instagram, we have some posts that have 10% of the people that have seen that post were following us. So that means 90% of people that are not following us ended up seeing that post. That's huge. Get that discoverability up. Make that a goal. Posting 3 times a week, that's a good goal. Your story utilization, make sure that you're doing something every day. Keep it up there. Skip the weekends or do it 2 days on, 2 days off so that you guys can have that notification pop up that ZBT here just posted something on their story. Know the data and how to get the data. Again, those insights are huge. Know the data and how to get the data. You guys know how to get the data, knowing the data. They will walk you through on these social media platforms, specifically what each of these mean, the social engagements, the insights, the likes, the follows from each post. Those are the more simple items, but you can get really, really in depth. And if you ever have questions, just contact us. I would love to walk anybody through it because once you understand that insight and marketing piece, it's a game changer. Have engaging content that allows for the viewers to want more. That is a big part of what we talked about today. And also that's something that we need to keep thinking about is what would I want to, as a freshman, fresh blood on campus, I don't have that community yet, especially in a virtual era where I'm craving community because I have that FOMO. What do I want to see so that I can keep viewing, keep watching, and want to join? Social media planning and media tools, managing tools, excuse me. Have a calendar. My God, have a calendar. That is one of the biggest items that I think will be super helpful. And obviously for me, it's a huge thing for me because my mind goes a million miles a minute. And so having a calendar of when things are posted before I even make the content, so I know that I have a timeline of this campaign ends here, or this campaign starts here, or these story posts go on Tuesdays, whatever that may be. Then I create the content, then I put it on a managing platform such as Hootsuite is the big one I use, so that I don't even have to think about it. And I planned a month in advance. I don't have to touch social media for a month unless we need to post something about an event, unless one of our chapters does something cool and we want to share it. Anything like that, it's already ready to go. So I can sleep more easily at night, to be completely honest. And going past the social media communications calendar, that's a little bit more than just that social media aspect. The emails you're sending out, the newsletters, when are those going out? When you guys need to be in contact with a printer or an outside entity to make events happen, whatever that may look like, having a separate calendar for it is going to make everyone's life easier, and we'll be able to show you like, oh, hey, we're missing this and we need to jump on this so that we can make sure that everything is good to go or we have enough time. And then the last piece of this, understand that it's okay to mess up. None of us are perfect. And we sometimes make designs or posts that don't resonate with everybody. Or we misspell something. I can tell you even recently for a award post, I misspelt the word champions. I am not the smartest person, I already understand that. But that little tiny mess up ate me alive. I took down the post, switched them within 10 minutes of it going live. Nobody commented on it. I don't think anybody really saw it because it was such a small piece of a bigger puzzle. But it got into my head and I'm like, I can't believe I did that. About 20 minutes after that, I snapped out of it because it was like, I mess up because I am human and I am not perfect. And it will happen to everybody. We will have these little social media mess ups, especially since most of these like Canva or Photoshop, whatever platform that you use to create your content, does not have the best spell checks. And so sometimes we just skip over it and it happens. But just know that just look at the content, see kind of what went up, what went down, and learn from it is the biggest thing. And it's always good to have somebody proofread. Even if it's a family member or a supporter, anyone that's around you, just be like, hey, look at this. Does this look right? That's what we do on staff. That's what we should be doing in chapters. We should be making sure that somebody is checking our work because we want to present ourselves in the best way. Um, and again, it's okay to mess up. Just move forward from it. Lastly, part of this all, because this is a recorded session and this is not going live via Zoom, I just wanted to make sure that if you all had questions, please email me at ahaddad@zbtnational.org. I work with chapters when it comes to social media and posting, and also even doing logos for some of the chapters. Whatever you guys need, the international office is here to support you as much as possible. We love speaking with our chapters and connecting with our chapter members. So please, if you have a question, don't hesitate to reach out. And then last plug, make sure that you guys are following ZBT on Instagram at Zeta Beta Ta. Especially tag us into the cool stuff that you guys are doing so that we can highlight it as well. But thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great evening, morning, whatever time it is.